Tottenham have always brought youth players through. You know what I mean? As I said, I've been to the training ground because I played in the game and I've never seen anything like it.
Okay.
But I remember saying to Gary Mabby, who showed me around the flight on, and I said, the thing is now, the expectation when you have that setup is be competing. And I'm not saying, I started from the council, like at the end of the day, where we trained with the Gazas, all this world. I'm not saying they're spoiled. This is football, how it's gone. Like, you know what I mean? The academy is phenomenal. The stage is phenomenal. The area in it before the game, it's tenfold to what I've ever seen in my life. But for me, it's nearly too nice.
Yeah, okay.
Too nice. You know what I mean? Because football's in the street, but this is how it's going. Like, a lot of academies are unbelievable. But yeah, the youth policy, have they brought enough through? No, they used to always bring through. But the big problem, I had this conversation with a friend the other day. Managers don't have enough time to bring the player up. So it's the whole system's a failure. Because the manager knows he can't think this player, I'm going to get him ready for a couple of years. We'll bring these through. He won't be there. Unless there's not many managers lasting the game long enough. So that is a failing. And that's where a club needs to think, right, this is where we want to go. And it's going to be a difficult stage with it. We want young players coming through. Because I feel sorry for young players now. I don't see where they get opportunities. I think that I personally, the young players, I go to a lesser club. It's not like in my day when I went to Tottenham, our choices. It's different because Tottenham were they didn't spend money like that. Clubs weren't spending like that. So they relied on the youth system. Nearly every player in my youth team made a debut.
Okay.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
But managers weren't getting stacked like they were getting stacked. Managers couldn't buy players, what they can do now. So the whole thing is actually detrimental to the young players. And that's why I'd always promote young players speak. Get out and play. Don't be at this glamorous club and you're on a good wage. What's the wage in 2 or 3 years? Where are you at? What have you done? So I think that's the key. I think that's why going out on loan for these young players now. But I think it's the managers don't get time by the chairmen. And I think that's the big problem. And that's why you don't see as many young players coming through.
I bet you watched at least the highlights of the Ange interview stating Tottenham isn't a big club. Does he have a point about the reluctance to spend big on wages on title challenging players?
Yeah, I think it was meant in a way of, if you want to be a big club and shout being a big club, this is what big clubs do.
Yeah.
Now, that club is run financially the best around. Daniel Levy done an unbelievable job. He spent money, but they have a wage structure. A very special player like that, Harry Kane, obviously it's different. Harry Kane earned the right to that. So there's a part of what that structure is correct, because I look at the likes of Man United, what they spent the players, the wages. These players are still paying. They're losing the fee. You can't justify this. Man United justify it because they're such a massive brand on the stock market in the world. Tottenham, the way it's run is unreal, but to compete at the top is very difficult if you're not going to give the wages. And so I think they're in a little bit of a situation. Do we go down that route? I don't believe they will. I don't believe it's in the ethos of the club. We have the structure, unless there's something very, very special. And I get it, because the amount of clubs you see them spending 60, 70 million on players. The players are on a couple of 100,000 a week. All of a sudden, they're not even playing. The manager goes, the new manager doesn't even fancy them. You have to sell them cheaper, pay them off. You can't keep doing that as a business. Some clubs can get away with it. Tottenham can't get away with that. They don't bring enough in to get away with that. So they are stuck in a little bit position, wanting to be the big boys. As you say, they are. But I understand what Pochettino was saying. Or not Pochettino, sorry, Pochettino, I get them mixed up. But it's all right saying that. But if it doesn't work out, the club's in a very bad financial situation.
Yeah.
So fans don't think like that, because fans want the best players out there, and if it has to cost that money, it costs that money. That's why they pay. They're getting charged a lot of money to come and watch a game now. It's expensive to go to football, especially with your kids. Jeez, I don't know how people do it. So they want the best players out there. It's tough because it is a business. Let's not forget. As much as football, it's become more and more business-like. It's hard throwing the money. I get it, but I also get the other side of it.